All right, Florida State went over to Dublin. They took an L. It's a get-right game. They're about 17-point favorites. Here's Bill O'Brien. He's coached at every level, and his guys in a scoreless game, not scoreless for long. Thomas Castellanos, this is a dazzling quarterback that can do a lot. There, he takes it up the middle on a 3rd and 2, and it's 7-0. Wheel route. Touchdown, Treshaun Ward. It's 14-0. Damian Wood, he's going crazy. Florida State within 8 early in the 3rd. They go for it on 4th and 5. And DJ Uiagalelei is picked. Max Tucker, Stanford Steve was calling for it to house it. He had blockers. And they get down inside the 10-yard line. 2nd and goal. So many options here. Castellanos rolls and connects. Kyle Robichaux takes it into the end zone. BC's up 21-6. You kept thinking, can Florida State get off the deck? The answer is no, because BC was landing body blows. They ran it for 270 until they took knees at the end of the game as Bill O'Brien's guys go into Doak. And there goes Robichaux again. A big run. They could have tried to tack on more had they chosen to. Instead, they are content to take knees, take the dub, and head home to Chestnut Hill with a win. Bill O'Brien joins me now. Bill, it's Scott Van Pelt, man. It's been a long time since we've connected. I assume tonight's as good a reason as any to say hi again. And, man, you have been part of wins at every level. But to win this one,
yes, sir.
They always say, Bill, that winning on the road is the most satisfying thing there is to do, man. You tell me, to be able to take your guys in and leave with this dominating win, how satisfying is it?
It's really satisfying. These kids, since the day we walked in here, which was 7 months ago, they've given us everything that they've had. They're tough guys. We talked about, winning it up front. BC, the tradition of offensive lines, defensive lines. We won the game up front. We established a line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and I thought these guys did a great job. And I'm so proud of these guys, Scott. It's only one win,
sure,
but to come down here and with all the work they put in, really proud of them.
In camp, Bill, you might have an idea about guys. You might think you know, but until you really are out there and you put 60 minutes on the clock with somebody else, right, another team, you don't know for sure. So what was validated tonight that you believed might be true about your guys, and now you know it is?
Yeah, it's a great point. When you come into these first games, it's not like the NFL where you have some preseason games and you can kind of figure some things out. In college football, this is it. You open up at Florida State, and there were some unknowns, but I knew this was a tough team, Scott. I really did. I knew that these kids had, poured everything into being mentally and physically, tougher than they were 7 months ago. And I'm like I said, I'm proud of that. Again, one win. We got to turn the page really quick because we play on Saturday, but very satisfying to come down here and get a win.
We showed a brief bit of the highlight. It's so hard not to think Kyler Murray when I see Castellanos run around, because he's not the biggest guy, but he's incredibly dynamic with his feet and with his arm. And we're showing some of these plays here. He's a tough dude, too. How do you describe, Bill, what he gives behind that offensive line that clearly did its work tonight?
Yeah, you got to give Tommy a lot of credit. Tommy has he's worked very, very hard to get to this point. Obviously needs to continue that work ethic throughout the season, but he's an electric player. He's a guy that wants the ball. He's a winner. He's been a winner at every level, and we're really excited and glad that he's on our team, that's for sure.
All right, I'm going to close with this because, as I said, you've coached at this level. You've coached grown men and pros in the NFL. How do you balance, Bill, the knowledge that these are young men that need some guidance, they can't go crazy, with at the same time wanting to let them really enjoy what it is they just did?
24-hour rule, right, Scott? 24-hour
Yep.
rule. We'll let them celebrate a little bit. We don't get back till 4:30 in the morning. We got to turn around, and they'll have tomorrow off. It's a mandatory day off, and then we'll be back ready to go on Wednesday. But they got 24 hours, and they'll celebrate. And then I think it's a pretty business-like team. We'll find out, though, right? We'll find out. We've got to be that way, but we're looking forward to it.
I was worried about your hydration. It's hot and humid. You're putting the test on that quarter sip right there. Yeah. Get a water or whatever it is you want to celebrate with tonight, Bill.
Yeah. with friends like you, who needs enemies, right? Oh,
Well,
man,
nah,
I knew
hey,
you'd point that out, all the sweat. That's right. No, you're right.
Kind to throw the headset on and visit, man. It's great to cross paths again. We'll do it again, all right?
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
You got it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me on.
He wasn't sweating this victory, man. His team gets a big win. Florida State's 0-2, right? We gave you the happy side of the equation, and there's a lot of joy there, deservedly so. Memphis is a scary opponent, man. That's a scary team people think could be a playoff qualifier. And then you've got all of the heavyweights from the ACC coming later. That's Florida State, who is sitting at 0-2 after this stunner tonight. And Louis Riddick, kind enough to join us after calling this game. And Louis, like Bill, you've played at every level, coached at been an exec at every level, and now broadcasting. You've seen these games from literally every angle. And you talk to teams and you see the prep. And you know if they're BSing, and you know if they believe what they're telling you. Off that loss in Dublin, when you talked to Florida State, did you get the sense that they thought tonight's a get-right game, we'll be okay, just wait and see? Was that what you think they thought?
Yeah, I would bet that that's what they thought, because quite honestly, that was the discourse surrounding this football team all week. Did you hear anybody say, yeah, Boston College could be another test, could be a team that could rise up and punch them in the mouth the same way Georgia Tech did? No, no one. Every conversation leading up to this game was, well, they're big time, favorites. They'll get right this week. It was a wake-up call going over there to Ireland. They'll be just fine. They have too many good players. They have a front four that looks like an NFL-level front four on defense. DJ will find his rhythm. The offensive line will take over. They have so much experience. No, no, and no. And a lot of that had to do with the opponent. Okay, I'm not saying it's all about the opponent. We'll find out about Boston College, as Coach O'Brien said. But I'll tell you what, this football team has some serious, that being Florida State, some serious soul searching to do. Because this season could totally go off the rails. Totally. You see their schedule. You know it. You talked about it before we came on air. This is a team that right now is fighting for it not being one of those imploding type of seasons that absolutely cost all kinds of people some employment. This could really get ugly for them if the leadership of this football team, and I'm not talking about Mike Norvell, I'm talking about in the locker room. They miss guys like Jordan Travis. They miss guys like Braden Fisk. They miss guys like Jared Verse, guys who are in the pros right now, who this staff told me last year when I was down here, these are the glue guys. These are the foundational guys. These are the guys that helped turn around Mike Norvell's time here and propelled them to a 13-0 season. Well, they're gone. So who's it going to be now? Did you see a single guy out there tonight that looked like they could grab this football team and go, we need to wake up and get things going? I didn't see it, and I'm standing right here looking at it from this broadcast booth. I didn't see it. On the other sideline, though, I saw a team that's going like this, dude. They're going, hey, we might be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they respond next week.
Well, Louis, and this is what we hear from so many coaches, both on the football and basketball side at the collegiate level in the NIL and portal era. When you go out and you try to put a team together, and if you've got a summer camp to try to make everything fit, that's not a ton of time, right? If you're trying to find continuity and belief and buy-in on the fly, I don't know, man. You brought up the D line, right? Everyone on social media is going to look at the quarterback play, and I'll ask you about that. But this was a D-line that people said was maybe as good as anybody in the country. What's the issue there right now?
I really don't know, because when they came out for practice, right, and we were at practice just the other day, and you see that group in particular going through individual drills, going from drill to drill, you're sitting there going, NFL body type, Sunday player, perfect, high draft pick, high. Individually, they looked the part. But I don't know how many teams, I can't tell you how many teams I've looked at like that when I see them come out of a locker room or see them get off the bus. I'm going, that's got to be a good football team. I remember last year, not to shine any light on Texas A&M in a negative way, I remember going down to Texas A&M last year and standing down on the field pregame and going, how does this team lose? Right. How? They have this prototype at every single position, everyone. Yeah. But you know what? See, this game isn't just about on paper about personnel and height, weight, and speed, as you know.
Sure, of course.
And last year, see, the portal worked for him last year. The portal worked. Jared Verse was from the portal. Braden Fisk was from the portal. Jordan Travis was from the portal. So it can work, but it's on a razor's edge, man. If you hit, you're golden. If you don't, well, we'll see how it happens here. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah, what's the old cliche, like the all-airport team, right? The games aren't played there. The games are played on the field. Yeah. And I do want your sort of eyeballs opinion on DJ Uiagalelei. I mean, I think when he went to Clemson, everybody thought he was the next guy. Didn't work there. Oregon State, now from Oregon State to Florida State, and everyone just presumed it was plug and play. It has not looked good, Lewis. What are you seeing and what are you not seeing there?
Yeah, there just isn't a chemistry, a rhythm, a consistency with which he can connect with his wide receivers at this point. And there really isn't a second reaction dynamic component to his game, meaning, okay, it breaks down, I have to make something happen that Coach Norvell didn't tell me I needed to make happen. He doesn't have that ability. His counterpart on the other sideline today, you saw it. It didn't have to be perfect for him. When it kind of got a little sideways, he goes, guess what? I'll take over now. I'll do this. Guess who could do that for Florida State a year ago before he got hurt? Jordan Travis could do that.
Exactly.
When you watch Boston College versus Florida State last year up at Boston College, Jordan Travis gave Boston College's defense fits. They didn't have that component here today. So with DJ, it's either got to be, look, he has got to either become much more efficient, much more consistent with his accuracy, and get on the same page with these receivers in a hurry, or else the passing game is going to always be a frustrating point. But you know what may even be more disappointing is the fact that they have an offensive line that is just littered with veterans that have played big-time football. They have a fleet of backs that are all different shapes and sizes and have all different kinds of skill sets. They couldn't run the ball a lick tonight.
Didn't run it at all.
Boston College shut that. They shut that down in a hurry. Exactly. So now you're really like, what are you telling me? You can't run the football and your quarterback's struggling? That's a recipe for a disastrous season. I hope it doesn't turn out that way for him.
I mean, it's the end of a holiday weekend. A lot of America sitting out there waiting to see what they were going to see. And all credit to Boston College. They were the better team tonight. This was an upset, but it wasn't an accident. Louis Riddick, always a pleasure to visit with you. We look forward to doing it again soon, all right?
You bet, my man. Thank you.
It's just the sixth time Florida State's off to an 0-2 start, dating back to the great Bobby Bowden's first season back in 1976. Mike Norvell now responsible for half of those. Obviously, things turned around in a hurry over the last couple of years for him. Seminoles finished the season under 500 each of the other two times under Norvell. So it's a stunning start for Florida State, 0-2, a pair of losses, both as double-digit favorites. That, along with Clemson getting stomped by Georgia and Virginia Tech losing as a big favorite in a somewhat trendy playoff pick over the course of the summer, it has not been the best of starts for the presumed heavyweights in the ACC. However, Miami certainly looked fantastic. Cam Ward, he was spectacular. They went down to the Swamp, had a big win over Florida. And while it is very early, it might be all about the U in the ACC this year. NC State does have a monster opportunity Saturday against Tennessee. This much we know. Unlike last year, the winner of the ACC is guaranteed a spot at the playoff table. Long way to go, but as we mentioned a little earlier, with Memphis up next, it is getting late, early. It's September the 2nd. It's late early. If you're a Seminoles fan.